Hey, it's Dave. I had a lot of great questions this week about calories in, calories out, and whether following that formula really makes it that easy to lose weight. I would say yes and no. Doing so will help you lose weight. Unfortunately, what kind of weight are you losing? And how healthy are you through that process? For example, if following that strictly has you losing muscle, or maybe half muscle and half fat, you can actually make yourself less metabolic than you were before. You can actually even increase your percentage of body fat depending on how much muscle you lost in the process. Additionally, you're making yourself less metabolic, less healthy depending on what those calories in look like, and you can make it harder to stay on your nutritional program. Like, follow, and share for more. Remember, calories are not all created equal. So if we're just looking at calories, what do we think? I mean, we're smart enough to know that fried chicken is not the same as grilled chicken, and that a slice of pizza is not the same as brown rice. So all of these things act differently on our body. Again, if we're just looking at calories in, calories out, the food that we consume can have a massive impact on how healthy we are on the other side of that tunnel, and also what we look like on the other side of that tunnel. We want to get through this, and we want to be hopefully a healthier, more metabolic version of ourselves. Keep in mind that we only have three different macronutrient categories to contend with. We have proteins, carbohydrates, and fats. Proteins, of course, would be chicken and turkey and beef, fish. For fat sources, now I'm really talking about good quality fat sources, I like to look to olive oil, avocados, nuts, nut butter, almond butter, macadamia nuts, almonds. Those are my favorite and preferred fat choices. And it's really important that we have fats in our body because they help us satiate us, and they also help regulate our hormonal levels. But carbohydrates are the tricky one. And since I have a minute, like, share, follow me, and I'm going to come back and talk more about carbohydrates. Hey, it's Dave, still talking about calories in, calories out, and I wanted to spend a little bit of time talking about carbohydrates. Carbohydrates, unlike our proteins and fats, just come in a lot of sources. Let me give you some examples. Brown rice, white rice, yams, white potatoes, vegetables, lettuce, zucchini. These are all carbohydrates. Apples, oranges, orange juice is another carbohydrate. Here's some other carbohydrates. A Snickers bar, a caramel macchiato. So when we look at our range of carbohydrates, they're really vast. I promise you this, if all you're looking at is calories in, calories out, and you're not getting those calories right, or if you're focusing on caramel macchiatos and Snickers bars, it's not going to happen for you. Again, way more involved than calories in, calories out. Like and share, stay tuned. More on calories in, calories out. And quite frankly, this is why I don't like those apps. The apps where they tell you like how many calories to consume throughout the day. They'll tell you how many grams of protein and how many grams of fats and how many grams of carbohydrates. But here's what they're not telling you. What types and when, because it makes a difference. Especially if you're trying to maximize your results. If you're trying to get the best results, the safest results, the fastest results in the shortest amount of time, you need to know these things. Again, like I was saying before, how a potato reacts in your body is very, very different than how a caramel macchiato or a Snickers bar is going to react in your body. And all of those choices will either take you to your goal faster or slower. Stay tuned for more. The other thing about carbohydrates is some carbohydrates will innately make it easier for you to stay on your nutrition plan than others. If you focus on carbohydrates that are, and sorry, I keep using the example of a caramel macchiato. So if you have a caramel macchiato or a Snickers bar, pretty much the same thing, by the way, but they just will not satiate you. Even if you stay within your caloric requirements, you are not going to be nearly as satiated with those items, caramel macchiato or Snickers bar, as you would something like white rice or brown rice or potato. If you're not satiated, it's going to be harder for you to stay on your nutritional program. Again, that's one of those areas where I just think the apps that calculate your calories really fail. They tell you the calories, most of them, they tell you the calories, but they're not telling you what versions of those macros will help you stay on your program. So the other aspect of calories in, calories out that we have to consider is calories out. How are we expending those calories? And again, everybody wants to talk about calories in and the food, but calories out in that expenditure is just as important part of this whole puzzle. For example, if we're expending our calories lifting weights in a proper manner, we are building muscle, getting stronger, and increasing our metabolism. If we are doing some other activity, for example, very prolonged, very intense cardio, whether that's a stationary bike or maybe some type of prolonged boot camp class, we could actually be putting ourselves in a position, especially if our nutrition's not right, where we are burning more muscle than we are burning fat. Therefore, we're making ourselves less metabolic. Again, calories in, calories out. Consider all the aspects of it. Have a great day.